Prudential Insurance Company is one that we've done a lot of videos on, but I want to recap because it just seems that for every 5 calls we get, 2 of them are for Prudential.
Mm-hmm.
And not only are they probably one of the largest group disability insurance companies, but they also, in my opinion, have one of the worst claims handling administration divisions of the entire industry.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of it has to do probably with poor management, poor hiring, poor education of their claims handling people, also the pure volume. They're a volume play company. We're going to write lots of coverage at low dollars, and we're going to do as little as we have to review a claim. And if we can get anyone, whether it's at our company or a doctor that we hire or a video surveillance company that we hire, if we find any reason to deny your claim, then we're going to deny the claim.
Yeah.
So am I biased in my opinion, or what has been your experience
I don't know,
with
Greg.
Prudential?
Then we share the same bias if that's the case. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that is, I think you hit the nail right on the head with Prudential. They are one of the more challenging companies to deal with when either trying to get a claimant on claim, or just seeing what the company's done after the claimant submitted the claim and we get a call that they've been denied, just going through the record and looking at basically their procedures in administering the claim. They're probably up there with, I can't really explain why. I guess many of the reasons you stated are probably true, that it's just poor education of their employees, poor training, maybe that there's some sort of, it could be just the culture, within the insurance industry. A lot of these claimants come from other insurance adjusters come from other companies where maybe the culture there wasn't a very good one, and they weren't trained properly. And that's what's happened with Prudential. They also, back in maybe 20, 30 years ago, when Unum underwent what they went, and a lot of their employees went other places, they went to Prudential. So.
Well, the other thing that's going on with Prudential is we're seeing, it's kind of like they lean, in my opinion, more towards we're going to deny up front early on in the claim. We're going to maybe have a nurse in our practice look at it, maybe have an in-house doctor, and then we'll hope to see if you appeal.
Right.
And the initial denials I'm getting are really pathetic.
Right.
They're a 1.5 to 2.5 page denial letters, which is basically regurgitating the policy language and what you said your date of disability is and maybe who the doctors were you went to. Outside of that, they have next to nothing in them. It's abusive, a lot of these denials. And then you do an appeal, and then they go out and hire a paper review company, and they use the same paper review company. Is it MCE? I can't remember the name.
MCE, maybe.
MCE, or I don't remember the exact name, but it's the same company they hire. They pay them $300 an hour for some doctor. The reports are written by this third-party company because it's always the same format every single time. And then, in my opinion, they basically stick it in this reviewing doctor's face and answer a couple questions that Prudential had asked them. And then they send that same report to 2 other doctors, and they say, oh, well, we never examined you, we never saw you, but based upon the review of the records, we think you're fine to go back to work.
Right.
And then they...
And they really they don't discriminate on who they deny, because I'm currently handling a case in litigation with Prudential where my client's probably like 66 or 67. We're not talking about a lifetime of benefits here, maybe a couple of years, maybe a year or 2 of benefits. But they handled the claim so poorly that I felt I had to help this guy because no one else would because of the time frames that we were dealing with. And it's just really discouraging to see that, because you would hope that as time goes on, these insurance companies evolve, but it just doesn't seem to be the case.
Well, the other thing is I have a client. He's been my client for 10 years. He initially came to me with a denial. We did an appeal. We won. 3 years later, they bother him again. They try to cut him off. We keep him on claim. 2 years later go by. Now we're 5 years into the claim. They send him to an IME. The IME doctor says, no, you definitely can't work. Well, we've been through, in the 10-year period, we've been through 8 different claims handling people. Well, guess what? Recently, a new claims person got on it and said, you know what? Now you're 45 years old. You've been on claim for 10 years. Let's look at the claim again. Let's go ahead and send your records out for review. So what do? They get the records, they send them out to this company, this MCS, and they do the paper review, and they go, oh my gosh, you have recovered. After 10 years, you're better now, and you can go back to work, and we're going to cut your benefits off. And this is the kind of garbage that you have to deal with this company on a routine basis. So here we are again, after going through 2 appeals for this young man who's 45, who clearly can't work, and we got to do additional appeals again.
Right.
And it's sad, but it doesn't stop. The pattern has been there the same for the past 10 or 15 years with Prudential, and it's not getting any better with this company.
Right.
So, the problem's obvious. That's why you're probably watching this video or you've heard about Prudential. But now you shift gears and say, well, what can we do to help? How do we stop this from happening, or how do we get someone back on claim? And, the first step comes with the medical treatment. And how do you think we help to buffer the medical and get the support there for the claimants?
I approach Prudential claims like I approach, handling any disability claim, but knowing the nature of Prudential a little more aggressively. So I know that it probably won't just be resolved by having the client take a attending physician form to their physician, having them complete it. You got to get on the phone with that doctor. He needs to understand the parameters of what we're dealing with here with Prudential, the disability insurance policy, the definitions in that policy. Understand that this isn't about the person's ability to function, at all, or perform activities of daily living. This is about perhaps their ability to perform their own occupation or any gainful occupation. Ensure that the evidence is there in the medical records to support them, because that's the first place they're going to go. They're going to attack that medical evidence. They're going to hire these third-party review companies that are basically, hired guns. They know exactly what to look for. They're going to try to shoot down the claim from the perspective of there's no objective evidence. It's all just completely subjective, or there's no evidence in the record to support the restrictions and limitations they're claiming. So that's the first place we're going to go is try to solidify and plug up any holes that there may be in the medical records and in the medical evidence.
So the other thing you got to watch out for is Prudential's notorious for hiring this outside company and then saying, oh, we called your doctor, we couldn't get a hold of him, so your doctor has no comment. And then when they do get a hold of him, they'll have a conversation, they'll write a statement, and they'll send a summary of the conversation to the doctor, and they'll say, if you don't respond within 3 days, we'll assume you agree with everything in this letter. Which is, you send a letter, the doctor may have never seen it, it's that doctor's interpretation of what happened. It's nice that Prudential sends them that letter, but most of the doctors, I'd say 85% of the time, they don't respond to that letter.
Right.
They're just like, look, leave me alone, I spoke to you
Greg,
already.
You know why they send them that letter? Is because lawyers like us are going to go right in there and say, well, where's the confirmation of the conversation? That's why they're doing it. They're doing it just to cover themselves legally if a lawyer gets involved and notes that, there's really nothing in the record supporting what Prudential's stating. But they send this type of letter. Oftentimes doctors are busy. They don't have time to deal with the paperwork that's coming in. They forget about it. They don't sign it. They don't return it. Or, they may just blindly sign it and say, yeah, we agree with everything that's in there, and then the client's claim is completely compromised.
Right, and I see that a lot. The doctors just sign it and they go, okay, because they don't understand the significance. So you must, as a claimant, tell your doctor that if they get anything whatsoever from the insurance company, they have to call you and ask you if you want them to submit anything back to the company. They have to be in communication with you, your doctor, as to what the significance is of any form that they get. Because if your doctor is just randomly sending stuff to your insurance company and you don't know what's going to them, it's a big problem. And when we're involved, we ask your doctors to send everything to us. We ask you to have your doctor send everything to you, and then you send it to us. We don't want these communications going back and forth between the doctor and your insurance company, because it usually is not good for the claimant. So, those are some of the issues that are going on. Obviously, there's a whole nother world in litigating. A ton of cases that come out, decisions are against Prudential because they deny so many cases. I have cases pending right now against them where I'm waiting for decisions. And look, they're not afraid to litigate. Neither are we, obviously, afraid to litigate. But there's a lot of litigation with them because there's a lot of denials. So we'd love to help you with your claim. We want to protect you, keep you on claim, get you back on claim. The first step to allow us to help you do that is to email us a copy of your denial letter, email us a copy of your policy. We will review it for you right away, and we'll let you know immediately if we can help you.